What's up, you guys? Andre here again, owner of Pinnacle Credit Repair, in front of this camera in my apartment, in my home, just to be transparent with you and show you what works. I'm going to share with you 5 laws that if you use will 100% guarantee remove any negative item on your credit report. I don't care what it is. Been in this business for too long to, just see things not work and for you to give up. So you don't always, these 5 laws that I'm going to share with you, you don't always have to use them. At the end of telling you the 5 things, which I have on my phone here, I'll tell you what the laws are, how to apply them, and then I'll try to pull up some credit reports of some violations that I see and be able to tell you line item what account, what note, what information violates what. That way you can have a better idea of how to repair your credit. Now this won't be a full training, but this will be a good idea. Like if you want to hire a credit repair company or if you want to do it yourself, it will help you out better. Credit repair is a detailed thing, so if you really want to do it yourself, I would suggest leave a comment if you have something specific, because there are details in which you have to do. You can't just take this information. Well, you might, I hope, but just in case, like how we do our credit repair here, we do it very detailed, and that's why it works so quick. So if you take this information and want to do it yourself, maybe leave a question, or maybe you're a professional, right? Or maybe you want to hire a company and you just want to make sure that they do these specific things and they're using these laws. So anyway, like I said, this is not going to be a full training. This video hopefully will be less than 10 minutes long, just to give you enough information to kind of crack the code of this credit repair game. So I have my phone, I have the 5 laws. There's actually 7 with a bonus, 5 with 2 bonuses, but I'm going to mention the 5 ones. I'm just going to read them off the legal definition of these laws, starting with the first one, which I think is probably the most easiest one to apply, because these types of violations and inaccuracies in the accounts are just so prevalent and so popular on credit reports. Okay, I see them all the time. So the first one that I'm going to go over, I have my phone here, so bear with me, is the Fair Debt Collections Practice Act. Now let me just read off the legal definition of what it legally means, and then I'll tell you what it means to me and how I will use it and how I have used it to successfully remove any collection and any charge off on a credit report. This law, Fair Debt Collections Practice Act, have it in my note here. You can Google this too to fact check. The Fair Debt Collections Practice Act, FDCPA, is a federal law that limits the actions of third-party debt collectors who are attempting to collect debts on behalf of another person. Okay, so this is pertaining to a collection account. Maybe you have an account that you're unaware of, or you just don't know the origin of this account. It might have a entity name on your credit report in the collection section. Depending upon which credit monitoring service you use, most likely you use Credit Karma, and it will have a space in the report where it says collections. It will say derogatories, late payments, and then collections. You just click on collections and you will find these collections. These collections may be related to things that you forgot that you have, or clearly are not belonging to you. Either way, they're not supposed to be on your report. There's many laws within the FDCPA that you could use to validate those debts. Okay, that's called a debt validation process. So these are what debt settlement lawyers use in order to negotiate a debt settlement on your behalf, because a debt settlement lawyer, which takes 50% of the debt and reduces it, and to like 25% you pay back to the original creditor, right? If they're good, they cut through the collection agency, and that's their profit. So if you do the math, 50%, they pay the creditor 25%, and then they make another 25% profit. So they make double the profit. But you can save money from paying the debt settlement lawyer and just kind of do this yourself, I'm telling you. I wouldn't recommend going to court, but if you want to get your credit cleaned, this is what you can do, and you don't have to pay a debt settlement lawyer. And I will make another video about specifically all these laws, because what's going to happen is in the debt settlement process, or the debt validation process, you may waste your money or spend unnecessary money hiring a debt settlement lawyer. So I'll make another video specifically for those people. And you know, that leaves us with 4 other laws, which I'll make another video specifically on what service companies would contact you and, you know, take your money, whereas you could do this yourself. Okay, so a creditor cannot legally give your information to a third party without your written authorization. They have to prove that they have the authorization to do that. Anyways, they need a letter from you. They need a signed document, or they need to call you a second time, okay? And just in order to do that. Not when you sign the agreement to, like, you know, when you apply it for a loan, there's the contract. I'm not talking about that agreement. I'm talking about at the time when, this is what the law states, when that, let's say you had a credit card, you didn't pay it, you were late, then it went into default collection status. They send it off to collections. At that time where the creditor closed your account, they have to have you sign an agreement to do that. If they don't have that agreement, they never did it, or they cannot produce a copy of that agreement, and that agreement can be audited too, because it has to follow your consumer rights. So it gets a little bit complicated, a little technical, but don't worry. Just use this main law, Fair Debt Collections Practice Act. If they can't produce it, then you can get that negative item off, right? So the collection agency has to prove that they have the legal right to do that. Now, if they can't, then pretty much can't, okay? Now, that's one of the main things underneath the Fair Debt Collections Practice Act, because that one law has sections, and it's one of the most simplest laws to focus on. That's why I chose it number 1. They can't call you at an inconvenient time. They can't ask for money. They can't email you. They can't contact you at any time that's inconvenient for you, and that basically threatens you to pay. They can't kind of try to convince you to pay, because for one, they're not the creditor, okay? Now here's something interesting. Occasionally, frequently, a creditor will charge off an account in which a charge-off is legally uncollectible debt by Black's Law Dictionary, financial terminology. The creditor gets a tax benefit from the United States government, especially if it's, you know, a financial institution like a bank, credit union, stuff like that, nonprofit credit union, and they get a tax benefit. So that debt is kind of written off as a loss. So they can't collect on that debt. It's illegal for anybody to collect on a debt that's uncollectible, i.e. a charge-off. And so if that account was written off as a charge-off, and then it's also reported as a collection, or at one point it was a charge-off, and then you see collections pop up associated with that original creditor, or vice versa, say you had a collection, and then it pops up as a charge-off, you could use those two things against the collection agency and the creditor. So you really have to do a time lapse. You have to pull the archives of your report. I guess I can be fancy and call it a forensic analysis. That's what we do. We look at all the credit reports that you may have, especially if you hired a credit repair company. You probably have those in your email. They've sent them to you, or you've kept them. Those are good. We don't always need them, but it does help to add up the facts. So anyway, you do a timeline, and you could do this in your Credit Karma. I'll teach you a trick. If you go to Credit Karma right now, you can go on a desktop, or you can go on your cell phone, and you can click on the button where you see your two scores, your TransUnion score and your Equifax score. Click on the score itself. There's going to be a button that says see what's changed. Click on it, and then you can just screenshot all of the history as long as you can go. And what I will do for you is basically do a forensic analysis and look at what the creditor has changed. They will change information and notes on the account. That's illegal. They can't do that. Okay, that's against the Truth in Lending Act, against the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which are basically some of the 4 remaining laws which I will discuss in this video. Okay, So the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act has three main things. They have to prove that the original creditor gave them access to your report. 9 out of 10 times they can't do that. Okay, they can't call you at an inconvenient time. They can't threaten you. Okay, if they do any one of those three or all three of them, they're kind of effed. Okay, and you can remove that off your credit report. I can't show you how to do it specifically in this video, but there is a way. Okay, maybe I'll make another video on how to do it specifically. Number 2, Fair Credit Reporting Act is really popular. You probably already know it, and a lot of people you've called will tell you, we use the Fair Credit Reporting Act to find inaccuracies and dispute blah, 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 BS. All right, so the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, is a federal law that helps to ensure the accuracy, fairness, and privacy of the information in consumer credit bureau files. The law regulates the way reporting agencies can collect, access, use, and share the data they collect in your consumer report. So this is a big one. I think this is the biggest law there is, because it has so many subsections and line items and descriptions. And then if you go in those subsections, they have legal terminology for those other laws that go into other statutes. So you have to really be on your consumer rights to know this stuff. And you may know all the laws, but you have to know to apply them effectively, which would require you to understand what's called case law. Case law is a legal terminology. You can look this up in Black's Law Dictionary, which basically is the collection and observation of cases that have got an acquittal or settlement or just won in court. You basically have to show that this law has been used in several other cases to prove your point, your case in point, and that's called case law. Exhibit A. This would be your Exhibit A. Exhibit A would be like your silver bullet, per se. So like I said, it gets kind of complicated. This is why you want to pay me $1,500 or $2,500 to fix your credit fast, because I'll do this for you. Or if you're like me and you want to start your own company and do your own clients, or just do this yourself because you're just weird that way, okay, we can collaborate. Leave a comment. Send me an email, no problem. So we'll go back where it says the law regulates the way credit reporting agencies collect your information. So if they get your information in an unethical way, such as a soft inquiry, or a creditor did a hard check without consent, that's a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Or if they reported the item inaccurate, meaning that it didn't have your accurate full name, it's missing a digit, there's discrepancies within the bureaus of how an item is reporting on Experian as opposed to Equifax and TransUnion. They all have to be pretty much parallel and, accurate and consistent. So inconsistencies is another one. And also how they share it. Okay, if you find out, and there's a way to do this. We can do it here. It's a little complicated, but like I said, this is one of the many reasons why you want to hire me and just pay me money to clear it up for you, so you don't waste your time. If time is a important thing to you, time is really important for me, I'd rather pay someone to get something done. Personally, if I had fixing my car, yeah, I'm a smart guy, I can figure it out, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to get my hands dirty. But before you do that, before you hire anyone else, you want to make sure, are they being 100% honest with you? Are they going to cheat you? Are they charging you too much? Or are they competent to do the task? There's a lot of, good people, nice people, warm-hearted people, but they want to help you. They have the best intent, but they're just dumb. They're not professional. Don't hire a dum-dum. So the Fair Credit Reporting Act goes over inaccuracies and how you share how the creditors are supposed to share information legally to other agencies or whatever, which they're not. And that's